Hey there awesome folks, welcome back to the Ubuntu Network Server course. In this video we're gonna pick up where we left off. You've just booted your freshly installed Ubuntu Network Server and we're about to dive into some action. Now, if you're new to the command line and you were expecting some graphical interface, don't sweat it. We're in this together and I'll make this as painless as possible. The command line is our playground, our gateway to the server's soul. So let's open the terminal and get things rolling. First, you'll have to log in using your username and password that you set during the installation. Once you log in, you'll see this pop-up saying a message about your Ubuntu server and some general information about your system. First things first, let's gather some essential server information. Type in the command hostname. You type hostname and you press enter. And you'll see the hostname on your computer. That is your server's name, like the secret handshake to your server's club. Next, we can check the IP address. This is the network address of our server. So enter this little gem, IP space A, enter. This command will list all the network interfaces. So in this case, we have two interfaces, the loopback device, LO, and the network device, NMP1S0. That is the actual network device. You'll always see a loopback device, but that's not a physical device. So we're interested here in number 2. And the IP address or the network address is a number that consists of 4 numbers. So you'll see the address here 192.168.122 and then 223 with internet or inet in front. That is your device, your network device address. Now, let's go into the next thing. Now, to do anything significant on our server, we often need to be the boss of the server. So you'll see I logged in as Frank. That is not the boss of the server. The boss on any Linux server is called root, R-O-O-T. And to become or to do anything as root, you type sudo in front of it. So whenever you see me type sudo before a command, it means I'm asking for superhero powers temporarily. For example, we can type sudo space apt space update. So the command here is apt update, but we're gonna execute it as the boss of this system, as the superhero or the administrator. So we type sudo in front, and as you might expect, apt update updates the package list. So it will make our server software current and secure. So if you press enter, ask us for the password, and you'll see it's doing an update now. And so whenever you want to execute something as administrator, type sudo in front. Now, okay, we have a computer, and if you never used Linux before, there's something you might be already familiar with, which are files and a file system. So you know what they say, know your terrain. So let's take a peek into the file server system. We can use the ls command, which is short for list. So we can type ls, and that lists the files in the current directory. So in the current directory, there is no any file. We can see the current directory with the command pwd, enter. So we're in the directory /home/frank, which can be different on your computer, whatever username you picked. And there's not any file in there. Now, this is not the top file. So on any Linux system, the top of the system is the slash, and then all the folders go deeper. So let's list the slash folder, ls slash. And you'll see we have several directories in there. We have the home directory. We have the etc directory, which is for config files. We have media and mnt directories, which are for media. Then we have the var directory, the user directory, and also the root directory. So you'll see the boss of the system, root, has its own directory on the system. That is true for any Linux system. Now, as I mentioned, the etc directory, that's where all the config files are stored. So that will be very important for our server. Now let's dive into this directory using the cd or the change directory command. So cd, short for change directory. And then we type cd/etc and press enter. Now we just stepped into the etc directory. We don't see anything except that we see /etc on the screen. That means we're in the etc directory. To see the current directory, we can use the pwd command again. it will show us, okay, we are inside the etc directory. And this is where all kind of server configuration files live. So if we type the list command, ls, and press enter, you should see lots of configuration files. So we've got lots of configuration files right there, directly on our Linux system without doing anything basically. So there's a lot of things you can configure in a Linux system. So that shows you the ls command. To show the file contents, you can type command cat, so cat, and then with any file, for example, crontab. You'll see the gray ones are files and the blue ones are directories. So cat contrab will show the file contents on the screen. It's not a text editor, it will just output that content on the screen. So when you type cat with any file name, you can see the file contents. Now, of course, the file must exist. So if we type cat with nonsense, it will tell us that the nonsense file does not exist. So you can only show file contents of files that are actually exist, so the gray ones. You can also create new files, but we cannot do that in the etc directory unless we're administrator. So let's go back to the home directory. So /home/ your username. Now to create a new file, we can type touch. So touch with your file name. And that creates a new file. So if we list the files, you'll see a new file, and it is an empty file. If you want to go up a directory, so pwd shows you the current directory. Let's say you want to move up one. You can type cd ... enter, and now you're one directory higher. pwd would show you again the directory. Now we can go back, cd with your username, pwd, and you're back in your home directory. So now it's time to explore. It's just the tip of the iceberg. So you might want to look around and fiddle around with these commands and see what you can find on your Linux system. So stay tuned, stay curious, and let's embark this incredible journey to becoming a Ubuntu network server wizard. If you have any questions or topics you'd like to explore, just send me the questions and I'll do my best to help you out. So until next time, keep networking, keep learning, and keep rocking your Ubuntu server. I'm Frank, and I'll catch you in the next video.